everyone, welcome to another episode of Live Now. I'm Kennan.
I'm Filippo.
And today we're going to talk about cars that we're interested in that happen to be live right now on Cars and Bids. Before we get going, we have some big news. Cars and Bids has an app.
That we do. If you go to the Apple App Store right now on your iPhone or iOS device, you can download the Cars and Bids app, get push notifications, all sorts of fun things. Kennan, have you downloaded the app?
Of course I have. I have it set for E39 M5 notifications, God's chariot. So anytime one goes live on the site, my phone tells me.
If you want to be like Kennan or any other cool person, go to the App Store or click the link in the description below to download the Cars and Bids app right now.
I'm going to start this week because I have a very exciting car. This is the 1998 Renault Sport Spider. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this car, this was kind of Renault's approach to like the Lotus Elise. Now, this car came out, unfortunately, right at the same time that the first generation Elise did, so it was kind of overshadowed by this car, but I have always thought these are tremendously cool cars. Ultra lightweight, so lightweight in fact that it doesn't have side windows, nor does it have a roof, and it came with a roll bar from the factory. It's just focused on the pure essence of driving, and in my opinion, in the most French, just deeply European way. And this car is brought to the US. It has a US title. These cars are finally old enough to import, and this one is here, and it's in Virginia, and it's it's a chance to own what I think is like just a poster car from that era.
It's so cool. I'm learning this right now, but these were hand built.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Which admittedly, I think if you look at the interior, you kind of tell they were hand built.
They're just so cool. The styling is truly ahead of its time. This looks like an early 2000s car, not a late 90s car.
Totally.
And it's just forbidden fruit that I think we've all sort of actively lusted over.
Yeah. You just want to be a guy who's like wearing linens in the Riviera, just like driving to like a restaurant, and this is what you would use. And I just think they are just so, I mean, look at that 3/4 view of that car. It's so cool. So I was like amped when I saw this car coming through, and I can't believe we have one on the site. We had one that I think that was sent to us years ago that just like never came to fruition. Yeah. But this one is here now, and boom, Renault Sport Spider. I think it's probably the most excited I've been about a car that we've had on the site in a long time. I just think it's awesome, and I wish I could bid on it, but it has a reserve, so I can't. And plus, right now, just with all the M5 service, I can't. But it is just deeply legitimate.
Yes. If you, I will say this right now publicly: winner of this car gets a T-shirt from Cars and Bids.
Wow! Yeah. You will personally
mostly
send them?
Because I then want to talk to them. I want to be connected to whoever buys this car. And so in exchange, I'll send them.
I'm so curious, because it is such a compromised vehicle. Like you're just using it purely to drive. There's nothing else you can do with this car. It's just
you can look
for driving.
Cool.
You do look awesome. You will win every Cars and Coffee you go to. I'm just excited to see what it brings. Because to be honest with you, I have no idea what these are worth.
Yeah, no idea.
And I am really curious what the market thinks it's worth, and that might influence some future purchasing decisions. I would love to have one of these for like 9 months at some point in the future. I just think they are just so cool.
Can we move on from unpractical to my standby in life, which is practicality?
Yeah, it's a perfect transition.
All right, this is a practical car. Ish. It's like just on the edge of practicality and fun enough. It's a GR Corolla, 2023 GR Corolla, 1,300 miles, so pretty much brand new. It's available with no reserve, because I'm legitimately curious to see where the market is at. When they first came out, selling above sticker, kind of edged down towards sticker. This is a year old now. Has a couple miles.
They're around.
They're around, and they're so cool.
They're really cool. I got to drive one.
Have you driven? I've never driven one.
Yeah, I drove one briefly, and inside obviously it feels like a Corolla. It's kind of cheap, not particularly great, but to drive was excellent. I mean, it is very difficult to argue with how nicely it drives. I was stunned because I caned it on a very tight, narrow road, and it is everything you want like a hot hatch to be. Yeah. It is a wonderful essence of that. And of course you get the Toyota reliability and blah, blah, blah. But like it was the manual, it was just like, I'm so happy that cars like this still exist. Like when the Ford Focus RS died, that was a really sad day, but there are so many cool hot hatches that have come since. And this one, in my opinion, is one of the more desirable ones, to be honest with you. And to your point, they're very new. Like this car came out recently, so I am curious to see like where these end up and like how they depreciate.
I wanted to.
The general life cycle, but and a no reserve car will be a great test of that. But and it's just
it looks great. Cool. I think the Corolla hatch in general looks great. The GR looks the best of them. Yeah, 300 horsepower, 6-speed manual, all-wheel drive. And I legitimately think that the Circuit Edition, which this is the right middle ground. The Morizo Edition, which was the most hardcore, doesn't have rear seats.
Yeah, that's a little aggressive.
That's a bit much for daily life.
Yeah.
But this does, while still having limited slip diffs, front and rear, carbon fiber roof, some other kind of upgrades over the GR Corolla Core, as the base one's called. So I think this is the right one to get. Excited to see where it ends up. I kind of want it.
It's no reserve. You can bid on it.
I know.
This is the third time that
I've been told that I can't buy a practical car. I really wanted a Mark 7 GTI for a bit because those are 10 grand now.
You can't.
15 grand. But like that doesn't.
I agree. But in like 2 or 3 cars time,
yeah,
I think this would be a great choice for you. But nonetheless, someone will take it home on Cars and Bids. So excited to see where it goes. The next car is still in your wheelhouse. This is a Corvette I get excited about. Tell us about this one.
All right, this is a C7 ZR1. So the ultimate C7. And this one truly is the ultimate C7. 3ZR package, ZTK package, which is the like track performance package, which you want and is important for desirability. This is fundamentally, to some level, a collector car, even though I kind of wish it wasn't.
Yeah.
8,900 miles. That's still like deep collector status, but it's the one to drive too.
Yeah, they're insane.
Do you remember when the ZR1 came out?
Oh yeah.
Doug went to Dubai.
Dubai. Yeah, to see the orange one. Yeah.
And the feedback from every single journalist was, I can't drive this with a manual. There's too much power. On like an actual track day, it's hard enough to handle. It's hard. I don't want to do a manual, but they're wrong.
Look,
because fundamentally, when are you going to track that? You're not going for the best time necessarily. You're buying a 9,000 mile one. You want to have fun.
It's like buying a Rolex Submariner and then saying like, "Oh, I can't dive to as deep as I can go." Well, no kidding. That's not the point. You want the ability to do so.
Yeah.
But most of these are driven to Cars and Coffee. Now, of course, if you do decide to take it on the track, what a weapon you have.
Especially with the ZTK, legitimately.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. To your point, I agree that it is kind of more of a collector car as the ultimate front-engined Corvette.
Yeah.
Performance-wise.
No more front-engined Corvettes.
But they are just so cool, and they are lovely to drive. They're just a hoot.
The one to buy. I know we run a car auction website, but like if I were in the market for a ZR1, and I wish, hopefully one day I have enough money to be, this is the one you want.
This is what you
I would love a ZR1, but this is the one to get. Legitimately, it has every option that you would want.
No, I agree.
It's not Sebring orange, but we'll forgive him for that.
The color is a little bit more sedate.
It's a great silver, though.
No, it is a nice silver, and it's a really nice car. And these are still holding very strong value. They're very sought after cars. So I'm excited to see where it ends up. But I'm picturing you in a ZR1. That's
755 horsepower.
That's so crazy. I can't imagine. But I am excited to
I'd
see
win any drag race.
So coming back down to earth a little bit. My next choice is very enthusiast based. So this is a 1991 E34 M5. So the M5 that preceded mine is the second generation M5, the last hand-built M5. And I think these cars are tragically underrated. Compared to E39. Like the E39 generally brings more money, typically. They're more sought after by enthusiasts. I think and it showed in time too, because in period, the E39 M5 dramatically outsold this car. Americans wanted V8s and it sold really well.
They sold no E34 M5s.
No, in fact, it was such a sales failure in its time that BMW considered pulling the M brand altogether from the United States because they didn't think Americans wanted fast cars. But I think the E34 is one of the best looking M5s, of the best looking 5 Series. I agree with Doug about that, although I do prefer the E39, but I think the E34 is a tremendously good looking car. These are crazy rare, and I just don't think they get the appreciation they deserve.
I agree.
And that's why I wanted to call it out. And they're also for enthusiasts, they're still attainable cars. This is an M5 that you get the classic straight 6, manual transmission, beautiful styling. They are a little bit more difficult to take care of because parts are a little harder to find, but still, this one seemed pretty clean. It had a lot of miles on it, but it has a lot of miles on it. But I'm just excited to see where it ends up, and it's just look at that front, that pulls up behind you, and you dive out of the way of traffic for that car. That car means business. It's a business machine, and I just think the E34 is awesome.
It is so cool, and also this is unmodified, which is.
Rare.
Back in the day when I wrote listings for Cars and Bids, I wrote a few E34 M5 ones, and I don't remember any that were fully unmodified.
Yep, this is my kind of car. This is a driver that is unmodified.
Yep.
In a nice color, which I think Alpine Vice looks really nice on this car. So I love the E34 M5, and I just had to call this one out this week. It looks lovely.
Agreed.
All right, so sticking with enthusiast cars, Filippo.
All right, this is a 987.2 Cayman. It has 56,000 miles, 57,000 miles. 6-speed manual, unmodified, California, guards red.
Okay, so facelift, yeah, so .2 base.
.2 base. Very base, .2. I drove for a Cars and Bits video, our producer Sean's .1 base. And it was excellent. You know the things that weren't excellent about it? Some of the modifications that he did. And they're fine, but like they're not for me. But yes. I truly think that an unmodified example is exactly what I would want. The base had ample power, given that it's not that heavy, and really you want the experience.
How much power was
265?
Yeah, that is.
It's ample, and like I was experiencing in his, you can floor it through first, second, third, and like I mean floor it, and the engine wants to rev. It's enjoyable to do.
Yeah.
So I think if I were in the market for a 987, .2 is what you want. Period. They've also made none, and they've held their value really well, better than .1s.
Yep.
They fixed some issues too. And no IMS, for example. And they're just great. Guards red, good color, California owned, desirable, unmodified, excellent, manual, low mile.
Yeah, I mean,
this might be my dream 987.2
Cayman. Yeah, I mean, the Cayman in general is like, for all the reasons you outlined, they are rare because when the recession happened, they just didn't make many of these cars after that. And this is definitely I love this, especially in a color. So many are silver or black, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like Guards red looks...
It's a good-looking car, dude.
Great. It looks hot. So I'm into the idea of this. And also, yeah, like it is the purest driving experience. I mean,
this might be the purest 2010 Porsche driving experience.
Yeah, the S, of course, like adds... And then there was the R, too. But like,
okay, sorry.
But like,
I misheard that. Okay.
Yes, but like the Cayman, I mean, I think they're just such a great value, and they're just... our producer, Sean, has driven his... many miles. They're just usable, fun sports cars, and yeah, I'm into it. But you can't get this one because there's a reserve, and you need something else.
I need something slightly different. But this is the one that I would.
Yes. Now, staying in the vein of Porsches.
Oh, Porsche time.
We'll talk about the last car. So this is a 991.2 GT3 RS. So I highlight this car because it has like no miles on it, 3,800 miles, lava orange, which is, in my opinion, like one of the best colors that was offered on this car. And it's virtually completely unmodified. So this is like a still in the wrapper car.
Yeah, to be clear, the only mod is paint protection film.
Yeah, which is what you, I mean, it's scarcely a mod, but it is, yeah.
What you want.
The reason I love these cars, I mean, it just, I know all GT3 RSs, or then all 991 GT3 RSs are PDK, but compared to like what the new GT3 RS cost, in my opinion, and also how insane it looks, this is like much more sedate and a little bit more tasteful. I can't believe I'm saying that because at the time it looked insane, but now it's like looks tame compared to the one that exists.
I don't know what the current one looks like. I'm sorry.
The 990, of course you don't.
I'm gonna just be honest here.
It looks like a legitimate race car. Like it is so outrageous looking.
Yep.
Comparatively, I mean, look at that wing. That wing is gigantic.
That is somehow an even larger wing.
Yes, but look, this looks like a normal car comparatively. Yeah. So I don't know. I've always liked the 991. I think that these are like settling into a really great spot in terms of value, especially because as the new one has come out, it continues to push prices down. But I think that these cars are just so cool. And this one is nicely optioned and does have steel brakes, so like you don't have to worry about carbon ceramics being expensive to replace later on. Had all the carbon fiber stuff you'd want, sport buckets, you know, all like, which I know they're hard to get in and out of, but they are really cool seats. In my opinion, it's just a really nice GT3 RS, and I'm excited to see. When we started Cars and Bids, I dreamt of seeing these on the site, and now we do with some frequency. And like,
so cool.
I'm so thrilled that we're at that point. And like, I really hope someone buys this car and then honestly puts a lot of miles on it because they're just wonderful cars to drive.
100% agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
And so those are our cars, our picks for this week of cars that are live now on Cars and Bids. And if you are in the market for a new enthusiast car, of course, head to carsandbids.com where you can check out these and many more.
If you want to know what car I had to cut from my list, we have a C30 Polestar, and it's just gorgeous. All right.
Go look for that car.
Go check that car out, too.
Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.